And Joni is also a certified speaking professional all the way from South Africa, and she's going to talk about 10 ways on how you can work smarter and not harder. Take it away, Joni.
Thank you, CJ. So CJ has the agility to speak and then be an MC. I love that. Absolutely love that. So good, you gave us some extra time, which is brilliant. Can I have your extra 5 minutes, CJ? Yes, I can. Great. So how many of you in this room are wanting to write a book? I know that Grant asked it earlier, but I want to see now. Good. How many of you in the room want to start a podcast? A couple of you. How many of you would like to be on someone famous's podcast? Yes, now the hands really go up. So I definitely would like to be on Dave Asprey's. He's the father of biohacking. I'd love to be on Professor Andrew Huberman. He's a neuroscientist at Stanford. I'm a neuroscientist geek, okay? I'm not really, but I read everything neuroscience. How many of you are wanting to start an online course? Yes. Yes, Neerjay wants to. Grant, you're in the metaverse. Some of people want to be in the metaverse as well. Thank you for that. 30 seconds today. In addition, some of us in the room are doing non-profit work. Anyone doing that? Good. Okay. So as keynote speakers or business people, it's not only about success. It is sometimes about non-profit. And I'm going to pause here to say that this is something I do in South Africa. Is I do non-profit work, and on the podium here, I have beautiful bracelets made by a non-profit in South Africa. Neerja, I think you got one, and it's a sleep bracelet. And I tell you that because I'm going to, as a behavioral strategist, encourage you to make a change this morning. And if you make a change, then I'm going to, thank you, Martin, too loud. Okay, hear my breathing, good. Is that better? A little bit silent? How does that sound? Dave? Dave is the man here at the console. Has anyone given him a thank you for everything he's done today? He's a wonderful man. Thank you, Martin. So I pause here about the sleep bracelet. Because as a behavioral strategist, I want you to make a change. We are all looking to bounce forward. We're all looking in this room. You've given up your time, your energy, your money, your client visits. You've given up a lot, possibly even just being with significant others and family. You want to bounce forward in the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you choose to take action after MAPS. So this is an investment in you. And I'm going to ask you as a behavioral strategist to think about the changes you want to make. And if you come up to me afterwards with a specific measurable change that you are going to put in place, you will get something from South Africa, which is a bracelet made by this non-profit organization. So let's think about each of us in the room. What are you going to do in terms of energy, in terms of dynamism? 20 years ago, I sat with my family, and this is on holiday. Have you plugged me in, Dev? Because it's not working. Okay, Dev is just plugging me in. 20 years ago, with my family, and I'm going to show you a little family shot. My children were 3 years old and 5 years old, so that's exactly 20 years ago. I was on holiday with them thinking, what am I going to do differently? I've now had my 2 children. I only want 2 children. How am I going to make a difference in the world? And of course, I was young. I'm now 56, nearly 57, and I'm really reflecting on what have I done in the last 20 years. In our youth, we think we have it all, and then we think we have less energy as we grow older. Well, as the energy maestro, and really here to stimulate you to bounce forward, I'm going to tell you that there are ways that you can work smarter and not harder. CJ spoke about it's not just about the speed, It is about accelerating in a way where you make a difference, but you do it mindfully. You do it in a way where you really make a difference and knowing what you're going to do. So 20 years ago, I thought I had it all. I had a lot of energy, a lot of dynamism. My children were just a joy to me and fun to be with. And then tragedy struck. So I thought I had it all until my husband suddenly died of an aortic aneurysm in Hungary. He was representing South Africa, a Springbok canoeist. He went over with a team to canoe in Hungary and unfortunately never came back. So this is a picture at that very time in the December. He had just died, and my children and our 3 dogs were like, how do we make a life together? And I only share this part of my story to say to you is that to my children, who were 7 and 9 at the time, I said to them, how do we bounce forward? How do we, as a new system of just the 3 of us, make life happen? And that was the inspiration for this resilience. And I've written books about it, I've got assessments about it, because we all, as humans, it doesn't matter if it's a big trauma or a small change in your life, there's a rapid change hitting us. The world is quite chaotic at the moment. Many of us have spoken about that. So it's about how do we choose to bounce forward? How do we choose to change our thinking, our feeling, and our actions? What are we mindfully doing every day? Bouncing back is not an option. These are my girls fairly recently, and they're both swimming in their own lanes now. They're both working, they're thriving, they're doing really, really well. Clearly, we've all gone through massive amount of therapy and processing and really looking at how we squeeze the joy out of life. I'm incredibly proud of them. They push back at me. Yesterday, Jonathan spoke about grit. They've got far more grit than they need. So it's always quite difficult dealing with feisty, gutsy young women. But of course, we often learn from our children as well. So let's look at these 10 ways. I'm going to be quite instructional because as a behavioral strategist, I want you to take something away. So you may want to write 1 to 10 down your page. And you may want to say, okay, which one am I going to apply? It's not about applying all of them. I'm not going to go into the science behind them. There's science behind each and every one of them. In fact, someone at my table yesterday, and I wish I could remember the gentleman's name, said, Joni, please don't do 10. Please only do 5. You're going to overwhelm us. Well, the first 5 I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share in depth. The next 5 I'm going to whiz through quite quickly. Okay? So there's 10, but in terms of human behavior, we don't want to change too many things at once. In fact, I don't know if any of you have read his work, but The Tiny Habits Work, written by Professor B.J. Fogg. If you haven't read that book, it's a great book and a great course. It's the tiny habits that become the rituals that give you this amazing amount of energy to bounce forward. Remember, I am wanting to create a movement on the planet where people know that bouncing back is not an option. We are all here to bounce forward and to make a change. So, there's going to be neuroscience behind all of this, but I'm not sharing the neuroscience. This will be the slide that gets you to think, okay, do I want to choose that one smart way that Joni's just suggested or not? So while this brain slide is going, how many new brain cells can you grow per day? Nothing for nothing, I'll give you a prize. Shout out, how many new brain cells? Sorry? No. I saw you drinking a lot last night. You lost a lot of brain cells last night. I'm only teasing. 10,000. No, it's not masses. This is, 365 days a year you can grow brain cells. First of all, did you know that? Yes. You did? Okay, good. These are people that are in the know. These ladies, front table, they are in the know. It's 700 you can grow per day. Which you can think, oh, Joni, in the billions that we have, it's not a lot. But 700 times 365 times how many years you want to live. Do you know that the latest neuroscience says we can live to 150 to 180? Nirja, do you want to live that long? Oh, she's saying no. We all want to live that long if we have got good health span. So your lifespan should equal your health span. I guarantee that some of us in the room have parents who are on the verge of dementia or Alzheimer's, yes? I do volunteer work for a dementia nursing home in Johannesburg, South Africa, and it is a very sad place to work. I don't work for the patients, I clearly work for the nurses, who I think deserve a lot of accolades. So this 10 ways to work smarter, not harder, and accelerate yourself is really about this space between your ears. What can you do for your brain to work more effectively? And how can you make sure that your lifespan equals your health span? I used to say to my daughters, I'm going to die at the age of 110, but I'll run out of money at 70. So you've got to sponsor me for those last 40 years. And of course they didn't like that. They kept on saying, Mom, you talk about that neuroscience book, Change Your Words to Change Your World. And I said, yes, okay, so I'm not going to talk about poverty, I'm going to talk about abundance. I will not run out of money if I live to 110. So let's look at how your lifespan can equal your health span, but most importantly, your energy. You want to be your own energy maestro. So the very first way is that as speakers, as coaches, as facilitators, as business people in this room, you want to use less head, more body. Now, of course, that sounds completely like, an oxymoron to start as number one. But you want to use your body. I see so many of you with your body posture, your neck is a little bit kinked, your shoulders are rounded, you're at your computer too much. It is very bad for your body. Years ago, when we lived in nature, we walked 12 to 18 kilometers per day. We are not designed to sit at desks, to sit on Zoom meetings, to sit behind clients' desks. Yes, some of us are on stage, but we're not on stage 12 hours a day. So most of that time we are sitting. Sitting is the new smoking. So I know, Martin, you're not going to like this, but I'm going to ask you to stand up, because we are going to, please all stand if you don't mind. I'm going to share with you something called egoscue. Now, in terms of 10 ways to work smarter, not harder, it is all about saying, how can I do micro activities between my Zoom meetings, between designing new presentations, between strategies, between planning to be in the metaverse, whatever your plans are, what are the micro activities you can do? I'm not going to share the research behind this. Peter Goscu came back from Vietnam with incredible pain, and he decided to look at postural alignment. I have started to use this, and it gives me bang for my buck. So here we go. You up for trying it? Yes. Okay. And here's the deal. We're going to do 20 seconds on the right leg and 20 seconds on the left leg. So picture the scene. You've woken up and you've thought, okay, should I go to the gym? I saw nobody in the gym this morning except Lindsay Adams, who walked in and walked out. Okay, he was there for 10 seconds, which was a good attempt, Lindsay, a good attempt. Tomorrow morning, we'll be on those treadmills side by side. No, he did go and exercise, and Rael went and exercised with him. Who exercised this morning? Okay, I'm only seeing 4 hands, 5 hands, 6 hands, 7, 8. You all deserve something. You can come to me afterwards. Sushil, well done. So, pardon? Exercise, you don't know what the word means. Exactly. This is the problem. This ecosystem, which is your body, if you want to work smarter, not harder, you need to exercise daily. Some people go like Joni, that word, I detest it, and that is okay. I'm going to teach you how to do it in a macro, small way. 10 seconds per leg. So you can roll out of bed, Do this in your bedroom. You do not have to go to the sweaty gym. You do not have to be seen in the corridors of this beautiful hotel in your short gear, okay? So, I'm going to ask you to follow me. So this is the best stomach exercise you can do, as well as getting fresh, oxygenated blood to your brain. So, right foot forward, please, people. Left foot, the heel is slightly up, and it's slightly to the side. So we're all looking good. Martin, you can even come back a little bit. Okay, super. So I'm going to put my timer on because I promised you. Did I say a minute per leg or 10 seconds per leg? Just checking if you were listening. Right, okay. So I'm going to take off my jacket for this because it gets a bit, yes, gets a bit hot up here. Right, so I'm going to, what should you not do is don't do this. It's pathetic, okay? So your weight is on that right leg, your left leg is back. I want you to sprint like you've never kind of sprinted this fast before, and the elbows must go back. Happiness, do you see the guy on the screen? Elbows go back. Suck the belly button in, and we are going to go for 10 seconds on my timer. So let's just see, it's a South African timer, so it could be slightly longer. No, I'm only teasing. Okay, so shoulders back, and 10 seconds, it's just started. Off go, elbows back, near as far back as you can go. Looking fantastic. Breathe in, breathe out. Susha was nearly knocking over the video guy. And stop. Yes, that was slightly longer than 10 seconds, Martin. Okay, because this is an ecosystem, it deserves balance. Left foot forward. And we're going to go 10 seconds. So again, be in your body now. Forget about who's in the room. This is your way to get fresh, oxygenated blood to your head. Why do we need that to work smarter, not harder? Because your brain will start to get those synapses working. Are you ready for 10? Yes, okay, let's go. 10. Good. Elbows back, Fionn. Back. It's not about here, it's about there. Good. And because of Fionn, we're going to go an extra 5 seconds because she was doing it wrong for the first 5. Blame it on her. She's in a brilliant convention. And that's it. Okay. Now we're going to do burpees. No, I'm only teasing. We're not going to do burpees. Take a seat. Right. So you've written down 1 to 10 on your sheet. Fiona's laughing because I teased her. Good, I like that. You're at the clever women's table, so you should be just fine. So you've written down 1 to 10. If you do nothing else, your brain requires fresh, oxygenated blood. If you're growing 700 neurons per day, they should speak to each other. Okay? I have got a father-in-law, so my late husband's father, who I'm extremely close to. Extremely. Wait for it. He will be 94 on the 9th of November this year. 94. That's not him, no. He's a gorgeous looking man. I should have put a photograph of him. Why do I tell you that? Because he lives in a different city. I live in Johannesburg, he lives in Durban. And I'm going to stay with him again now in June. And I love staying with him. He's a 94-year-old man that teaches me things. And during last year, I was delivering an online course to a big bank, AXA in South Africa. And I was trying to get that connection going. I was staying at his house. So different city, different house, you're trying to get things going. He was 92 then. He came up to me, he said, Joni, should I help you with the technology? Yes, exactly. And Martin's laughing because I'm not technically that clever. And he did. He helped me with the technology. After I deliver my keynote talk on Zoom, we sat in the lounge. He said, I'm just going to show you my latest trip that I went to in Ireland, in fact it was. He put his photographs up on his phone, connected to his TV, and there we watched his trip with videos, etc., etc. So we all want to live well for our entire lifespan. We can get cleverer as we get older, but you need to move your body. The World Health Organization says you need to move your body for 20 minutes every day to elevate that heart rate. So this first of the 10 tips, I take an extensive amount of time, because if you want to honor your brain, you've got to move your body. Right, so that may be something, a tip that you want to take away, 10 seconds each side, or 20 seconds each side, or any other micro movement you want to do. Let's get on to tip number 2. Now this also seems like an oxymoron for us speakers and business people. We're going like, let's work hard, we've got 12, 14-hour days, and sometimes we boom through them, and we do not take breaks. Our body is not designed to work for these long periods of time. In fact, if you sit for longer than 2 hours, your good cholesterol goes down by 40%. I told you sitting is the new smoking. So I've put on a little term there, NSDR. Anyone know what that means? NSDR. Nobody. No smoking. I am actually an anti-smoker, so it could be something like that. That's a good guess. It's non-sleep deep rest. So Google and Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai, he often speaks to his employees about non-sleep deep rest. My godson, David Bear, works for Google in Dublin, and I said to him, David, I've read a lot about Sundar. I've read a lot about NSDR. Does he speak about this at your meetings? And he does. So Sundar Pichai says, look, I don't have time to meditate. I run a big, big business. What I do is non-sleep deep rest during the day. So he does these 1-minute meditations. So any of you who have got ADHD or you battle to focus, Reverie is your app. That's the app there on the screen, and they've got brilliant, brilliant 1-minute meditations. So think about what you can do during the day to have these short, quick breaks, to refocus your brain, to get grounded, to look at that strategy, to look at that new business design, to look at that collaboration. You spoke about collaboration, Grant, and we all need to join those dots and collaborate in different ways. So I have got this on my phone, and I use it extensively. I learned this biohack at a conference in America, and it's been a game changer. So short breaks, it can be anything. It can be a meditation. It can be a breathing exercise. It can be standing up at your desk and doing that Egoscue exercise. So take those short breaks. The third tip I've got for you, and this I've only recently started in the last 6 months, is I've started to honor the way I work and look at how the brain functions. Many of us have heard of the circadian rhythm, yeah, the 24-hour clock that our brain has. Have any of you heard of the ultradian rhythm? No? So our body, our ecosystem is all about rhythms. Our heartbeat, our whole digestive system is all in rhythm. The ultradian rhythm is the rhythm of 90 minutes and how your brain can focus in 90 minutes. So whether I'm running a meeting or whether I'm working on my own, I honor my ultradian rhythm. So this is what I do. As I go, okay, I'm starting this particular project at 10. My way of working smarter is I do need to get into my office and clear all the rubbish away quickly. What are the quick things I can get done? What are the quick returns? What are the urgent emails? I've worked with my particular PA for 25 years. She knows me inside out. And of course, her and I work seamlessly together. So I go, okay, these are the priorities for the day, Cheryl. What are you doing? What am I doing? And we clear all of that nonsense away. And then at 10 o'clock, my emails go off, my phone goes off, and I very often go and sit in a different area. Not always, but I often do. And for 90 minutes, my head is down. Woof. This is what I'm concentrating on. So I'm writing my second book at the moment, which is all about how to reboot your brain. So what are the 6 ways to reboot your brain? And for 90 minutes, I give it all I've got. And I do have a timer, and after 90 minutes, the timer goes off. Now, the kind of, if you're a keynote speaker or a writer, or, you often think, okay, 90 minutes, I'm still in flow here, should I carry on? I've started to really honor my brain's ultradian rhythm. So after 90 minutes, I'll get up, I will often take my shoes off, I'll go outside, I'll stand on the grass, and I'll just do some deep breathing. If I'm still in flow, I don't want to interact with anybody else, I might go back to writing another chapter of my book. But have a look at your day, and have a look at how you can segment it into ultradian rhythms. If you want to know more about this, Professor Andrew Huberman from Huberman Labs, Stanford University, is a big, big proponent of this. Right, so we've gone through 3 of those ideas. Idea number 4 is from Near El. If you're looking for a good podcast, his podcast is called Near and Far. It's a brilliant intersect between psychology, technology, and business. And he speaks about many topics, a very, very humble man. One of the topics that I've taken to heart to work smarter is called time boxing. And I honor this. And I think Monique, who I've shared a room with at the ACT Singapore convention and here, knows how I walk my talk around time boxing. This is when I'm going to work. This is when I'm going to exercise. This is when I'm going to sleep. This is when I'm going to return mails. This is when I'm going to go and have some fun in the city. So honor the fact that you are looking at time boxing your activities. I always say to my daughters, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Because we know we can always rework those slides, rework that chapter, redesign X, Y, Z. So look at how you can segment your week. And I've got a paper diary, in fact it's on the desk over there. It's a big leopard this year. And I want to look at things visually. How can I time box? So maybe that's the one application you want to take away. The 5th one is something that many of you know me for, is I've got a talk called Sleep is Your Superpower. And many of you are clocking up the hours working, but you're not clocking up the hours sleeping. I'm not looking at you, Nia. Okay, so we often say to each other, don't we, as we greet in the hall out here, how did you sleep last night? If you're new, you said that to me. Nia, you and I said that to each other. And we are trading in our health for our wealth. I can tell you categorically, if you are not clocking up 7 hours per night, minimum, you will get Alzheimer's, dementia, some form of cancer. Your lifespan will not equal your health span. So it's non-negotiable. Lots of research out on that. That's what you need to clock up. We're going a bit faster now. I told you the last 5 are going to be quite fast. So it's still on your list. You are selecting what you are going to do differently. This next one is something that I've worked in the field of for 28 years. It's understanding humans' behavior. What drives our behavior? We know from a psychological perspective, it's a fear that drives your desires, that drives your motivators, and it's just that 10% tip of the iceberg that we see. I know, Lindsay, you spoke about relationships yesterday. Your beautiful cube was on the table. There are many systems out there to look at what drives you. I particularly use the Enneagram. It's 9 personality types, and it's the oldest personality system. It's 3 dimensions, and it looks at all of those things: fears, desires, motivators, behavior, and it looks at it in 9 different ways. So speak to me if you want to know more about the Enneagram. Right, we've got a few minutes left. This you all know, but do you do it? Do you say no? Yeah, so there are quite a few freebie talks that I give per month, but I allocate how many am I giving per month, and then I have to say no. This month is booked or that month's booked. So think about what your badass boundaries are. What are you saying no to, and stick to that. And I do with my daughters as well. I say to them, no is a full sentence. Sorry, I'm not going to be doing that anymore. And because I have an inclination as a human behaviorist to help people, I've got a stress ball on my desk that's got a few of the non-negotiables on it. And I stick to it. And sometimes, a daughter would walk into my office and go, oh, Mom, could you just, and I just pick up that stress ball. It's a visual reminder, and she goes, and then walks out. So stick to those boundaries. And then number 9 is also something that you know, but it's something to be reminded of. What is within your control and what's not in your control. And when I get myself, kind of heated up and emotionally charged about something, and it could be the non-profit that I'm doing work for, it could be a client that I've worked for years, I then say to myself, Joni, motion shifts emotion. So this is a bit of fun, as I have this sitting on my desk. These are skipping rope, a skipping rope, 2 parts clearly, with weighted balls on. So every 90 minutes at my desk, I do some of this stuff. Motion shifts emotion. So when I'm feeling out of control or overwhelmed, I will absolutely stand up and do a bit of skipping at my desk. And then lastly, tip number 10 is really about, as humans, we've got to choose what happens when we put things in our mouth. Alcohol is beautiful and fantastic, but use it to celebrate, not to obliterate. Sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. It shrinks your blood vessels in your brain, too little blood to your brain cells die, your memory declines, and you will get dementia. So watch how you charge and recharge your ecosystem. So thank you, everybody. I hope that you have taken out 1 tip, be disciplined, 1 tip to bounce forward. And as I mentioned at the start, you're welcome to come and find me. I will give you one of the Rehoboka Foundation bracelets to remind you, especially about sleep and digitally detoxing. If you want to get hold of me for anything else, there's my LinkedIn QR code, and thank you for your time.